his crime being fighting for the happiness and the return of resources stolen from African people.
Yes.
And in solidarity with the oppressed peoples around the world. And Sunyata correctly said, and I think it's significant about our presence, and what I've heard said today by the presenters and some of you, is that the more sweat in peace, the less blood in war.
Yes.
And that's testimony to what it is that we have to do. Comrade Glen talking about we ain't got no time. It's not like this is happening on your timeline. The crisis of imperialism manifests itself in 1,000 different ways that threatens our entire existence. And it's important for us to understand that. Now, I am an African internationalist, which is not to be confused with Pan-Africanism or Pan-Africanism. I am a revolutionary communist. I am a part of a revolutionary organization that was started with the objective of completing the Black Revolution of the 1960s. My presence here today and having this discussion with you is a part of that process that our party started, from our perspective, a long time ago to complete the damn revolution.
That's right. That's
right. It's not here to get some kind of democracy or democratic rights. We beyond that time. We made that struggle for democracy. That's what gave birth to the Black Liberation Army and the revolutionary movement, and because our struggle had moved beyond that point of demanding just democracy. At a certain time when you have just severe repression that you might call Jim Crow and all that stuff, the struggle for democracy and civil rights was progressive. But at that time, when the movement has gone beyond that, and masses of people have been engaged in the struggle for national liberation, to go back to fight for democracy or to fight for civil rights is not progressive. It is something that is reactionary. That is to say, fighting for something in the past. We're at another place today.
Yes.
We talk about the crisis of imperialism, that the imperialists themselves cannot see the future. That is worth anything. It's represented in their popular culture even.
Yes.
And so you look at the popular culture of imperialism, and they show you, they represent itself. In every place you look up, you see in these movies superheroes. Used to be a time where imperialism was powerful, and it was representing the Supermans and the Wonder Women and all this other kind of stuff. But that ain't the way it is today. So they recreate this whole concept of super this and super that and superheroes on the one hand. Because they can't see the future, they go back to the past. And when they try to look at the future, what they see is death and destruction. So you got zombies every damn where. You can't turn on the TV without seeing a zombie, The Walking Dead. They can't see the future. We see the future. And the future is of a liberated humanity with Africa standing right down in the middle of that. That's why they can't see the future. They can't see the future. Because their existence rests upon a pedestal of the enslavement, oppression, and colonization of the peoples of the world.
Yes.
We got to take it out.
That's right.
Now, in order to do that from our perspective, like I said, I'm speaking as also the chair of the African People's Socialist Party. And our revolutionary program.
We got you back. We got your back. Power to the people. Power to the people. Goddamn it. Power to the people. Power to the people. We got your back. Teach that. Teach that.
It's an international program. We are African internationalists, recognizing that the beginning point, the starting point of our investigation of the world, which is based on a dialectical and historical materialist method of investigation and analysis, starts with the fact that we're Africans. You can't get around that. We come from Africa, and not just that we came from Africa, but Africa has been catching hell since they came and got us. And not only does Africa catch hell, but black people all around the world catch hell as a consequence of that original sin. Wow. That's what Karl Marx said. He said the original sin, he said turning Africa into a warren for the commercial hunting of black skins. This is the starting point. How did capitalism get started? And then he talked about the war that England made against China to force China to become a nation of junkies in 1841 and 42. He said in order for it to work, there was a primitive accumulation of capital that was not a consequence of capitalist production, but a starting point. This is what started. And he said that this primitive accumulation of capital has, in political economy, the same significance of original sin in theology.
Go ahead.
So, I want to get to the essence of the damn question. Understand? And I'm saying this also because when we recognize that, as Africans, one of the first things we recognize is that we are no minority any damn way. We are 1.5 billion people who just are not conscious of what our mission is and the basis of the contradiction. China doesn't have half the resources of Africa. But when the U.S. deals with China, it deals with one China. When France deals with China, one China. When they deal with Africa, they deal with 50-some odd Africans because that's the way they created it. China was united by revolution. Revolution united China. And we're going to have to make that revolution to unite Africa and African people. Guess what? China is not just united. Increasingly, they don't mess with Chinese nowhere.
Listen.
They don't mess with Chinese in Chinatown in Philadelphia. You understand? Because China got power. You understand? And that's what that's from our perspective. We got to have a revolution. We got to overturn this relationship that imperialism has to Africa and other peoples around the world. The other thing I want to mention is from our perspective, if you're going to have a revolution, you gotta have revolutionaries. You gotta have revolutionaries. You gotta have a group of people who, no matter what their occupation is, their profession is revolution. So they may be school teachers, barbers, bricklayers, cab drivers, even lawyers as their occupation. But their profession has to be revolution. We have to have professional revolution. No people on earth has ever freed itself without first creating a cadre, a steel cadre of people who are just dedicated to that. Just dedicated to that, making it happen. And that there is no sacrifice too great for a cadre involved in revolution. You're going to have revolutionary organization. And that's what we have been building. And we are not just. And so when we talk about internationalism, we're talking about we've had relationships. We participated in the Iranian Revolution. We did. When they attacked the Iranian embassy, when the U.S., when the comrades from Iran took over that nest of spies in Tehran, and the white people in this country, even on college campus, the most prestigious college campus in Florida, the University of Florida, the students were having bonfires and rallies, send the Klan to Iran, and sand niggas go home. And they were even attacking anybody because they didn't know that the Iranians are not Arabs. You know? And they're not Sikhs either. You know? So anybody have a turban or a look, they were attacking them and what have you. And so we organized in the streets of Gainesville, Florida, massive African people in solidarity with the people of Iran. And when we did it, when we did it on University Avenue, we were attacked by mobs of white people waving the American flag, chanting America, America, America. And there's a story that's connected with that too. But the point is, and some Africans in New York got upset with us because when they first attacked us, they snatched their red, black, and green and ripped it apart. It was some bad white people, right? Ripped it apart. And Africans in New York nationalists got all keyed off at us because they're white people too. You shouldn't have the flag out there. We said, we're going back next week. We're going back next week. And we went back next week. And mobs of white people, motorcycle gangs, sitting down drinking and beating up with the cops before we even got to the seat of government there. And they're chanting America, America, America. And we marched right up in the middle of it. And they was going to America, and we were going, Africa, Africa, and they backed down, and they got quiet, and I stood up on the platform and said, the sand niggas are here. You know what I'm saying? The sand niggas are here. And I read a statement that had been written by the person who at that time they made the Prime Minister of Iran. I got down from that platform and pigs all around. They say, well, we just told just to come this far with you. We ain't going no further. No farther. So we said, okay, that's up to you. And we started marching. And they were following us, this mob of white people, American flags everywhere, on pickup trucks and the whole bit. And we crossed over into the African community. And Africans started coming out of the clubs and bars and neighborhoods, and the white people were going, America, America. And the newspaper quoted Africa saying, you ain't an American? And you saw the old flag just fluttering in the wind as they had to get out of there. Internationalism is in our DNA. We organized the first solidarity with Nicaraguan revolution. Even as it was heating up, we turned all of our resources over to the Sandinistas, right? And because they were fighting against the same imperial enemy. They don't have to be Africans to do that. That doesn't mean also that our struggle as African is not for African liberation and struggle against colonialism. The Mexicans are fighting for Mexican national liberation. I stand right with them. They don't have to like Ray Charles. You understand what I'm saying? All they got to be against this sucker that we're against. We'll kick his ass together. And I don't lose my identity. You don't lose your identity. We're together in this process of strong imperialism because this is what creates the conditions for us to stand up with each other, look each other squarely in the eyes, and come to this democratic relationship with each other, right? And build a new world that we got to build. I don't give a damn about Trump's wall. I don't give a damn. Ain't no wall gonna stand where we gonna bring it. And we gonna be fighting on both sides of the damn border. You know what I'm saying? Because my recognition of the origin of the contradiction helps me to understand that Mexico, you talk about Mexico, has been robbed and looted and raped and what have you, and the Mexican people today suffer the consequence of half of Mexico being stolen by white power. Damn it, I'm on their side. I want all the shit back. That's right. You understand? And I'm on the side of all the oppressed people around the world, and I'm still fighting for black liberation. There is no contradiction there with that. So I'm just gonna, this coalition, from our perspective, what makes it a powerful is it recognizes and pulls us together. It helps us to say that we are struggling for national liberation. This ain't no, we shall overcome, we want to integrate kind of movement. This is national liberation, self-determination. That's what we're fighting for. It recognizes that African people catch hell as a nation, as an oppressed, colonized nation. That means when we're looking at the nation, then there are all kinds of forces in the nation. Not just workers, right? Not just artists, but all kinds of forces in the nation who have to be mobilized against colonialism. That's why we have a national black political agenda for self-determination. It's not a working class agenda for self-determination. It's a national black political agenda for self-determination. That organizes and unites the entire nation in the struggle against colonialism. But it's my job as a revolutionary that represents the interests of the working class. That door gets open in the struggle against colonialism to drive the working class bus straight through it so that we gain the kind of liberation that can only come as a consequence of the African working class coming to power with our struggle. So we're going to turn this war, these wars into wars against imperialism. I want to say that we don't now we don't have any respect for U.S. imperialist laws, none whatsoever, none. Got no respect for them. I want everybody who's locked up in these goddamn prisons free. Turn them loose. Don't tell me, well, you don't want them. Y'all want all free. Every one of them. Tear the damn walls down. Free them. How can a colonial power, you can't legitimize the colonial power saying it's all right for you to arrest somebody who stole my television. Either it's a colonial power or it's not. And we have to solve our own problems in the process of struggling for power. And also, you know, we just reading stuff in the papers nowadays, and we see how per year, is that the name of the group? What's the name of the big, say it again? No, I'm talking about the legal dope pushers. Purdue and the other legal dope pushers, comrades, have killed 400,000 people in the last 20 years. 400,000 people. They were picking up a brother, a sister in the streets for a bag, for a nickel bag. Can you imagine that? Nobody's going to jail for that. You don't see that picture. You don't see that picture on television. Ain't no lineups or nothing like that. I try not in public anyway to use profanity. I have some serious words I want to say about my respect for this whole setup. It's got to go. The humiliation that my people experience on a daily basis, it's got to go. And so let's kill all of them. All these imperialist wars against imperialism. Jihad. There's a brother I never knew. He was in the Black Liberation Army in New York. Pigs were looking for him. He was underground. And he caught a subway. I don't know, might have been you. He caught a subway, and he was riding on the subway, and a pig got on the subway in the same car and sat right across from him. And he saw the pig recognize him. And the pig looked at him, recognized him. He put his hands in his jacket. When he put his hands in the jacket, him and the pig rode on the subway till they got to the next stop. When they got to the next stop, the pig unasked that subway. You understand? He got off that subway, and I'm sure that none of his superiors know that he ran into that brother, because he can't go back and tell them what just happened. Because the Black Liberation Army, they declared, you talking about black community control of police? The Black Liberation Army in New York in particular declared, if you kill an African, you're going to die. A cop's going to die. That's when you saw this whole, the whole reduction in the number of black people who have been killed by the police.